Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja. We got a great Ask a Ninja from Gerald in Mattoon, Illinois, and it sounds like that he had mold growing on his block wall, his concrete block wall. They apparently took care of the mold, and now he's wanting to make sure that the mold doesn't return. But what happens if he covers it with plastic? How should he handle that? Stay tuned. If you're new to Crawl Space Ninja, we talk about everything related to crawl space encapsulation, mold remediation, indoor air quality. We hope you'll subscribe to our channel, ring that notifications bell, follow us on Facebook. Also, make sure you check out our DIY store and our franchise opportunity. Gerald, I'm going to read your question here. If your crawl space had mold on the foundation, which was removed, and then you encapsulated your crawl space in the future, how do you check or know that the mold is not returned on the concrete block? Would your vapor barrier on the walls have to be removed for inspection? Now, that is a great question. First of all, I am assuming that your walls are painted. If they are painted, there's not really a whole lot you can do to keep them from growing mold again, all right? So I'm gonna talk about two scenarios here. If you, a lot of people, whenever they have a basement or a crawl space that has water coming through the foundation, they'll paint the walls. I've done videos about why you shouldn't paint the walls because the paint becomes a food source for the mold. But if the wall has already been painted and then someone treats that mold, it's gonna come back because the wall is still gonna be wet, okay? You're still gonna take water through the foundation wall. That paint is gonna stay wet. It's virtually impossible to get that paint dry. So you're always going to have to be dealing with a mold issue in the future. The only way we have found to correctly address that issue is to actually grind the paint off. Soda blasting doesn't take it off very effectively because it gets in the pores of the concrete and it's very difficult to remove. And who is going to go down there with a grinder and grind the paint off? We've attempted it on a couple of different houses. It didn't go very well. Just grinding dust went all throughout the house. It was a nightmare. So it's not really something that we do anymore. But grinding the paint off is really the only way to keep that mold from growing back on that paint. If your concrete block wall is not painted and you've got like a white, almost like a mineral coming through the block wall that they treated because they thought it was mold, that normally is not mold. That is efflorescence, which is a calcium that comes through the block. Now, I don't know what the scenario was, why they decided to treat it or anything else. So if you've got that efflorescence coming through, that's typically not mold. We've tested it. It never shows up as any kind of mold and when we do a surface sample. And it's okay to just cover that up with a vapor barrier and then make sure you got a good water management system installed so that as water does come into the crawl space, it goes to the sump pump and is directed back out of the crawl space. So I guess to answer your question, if your walls are painted and you put plastic on the walls, I would make sure you seal the top of the plastic with a polyurethane caulk or a butyl tape to keep that mold from affecting the indoor air quality. That is really, other than grinding it off, probably the best scenario. Or just don't put a vapor barrier up the wall. And then you'll have to treat it probably every couple of years, if not sooner, with some kind of disinfectant to make sure that you're killing the mold as it comes back. It's not a good scenario either way. So hopefully that answers your question. If you got paint on the wall, and you know, let me know. Is there paint on the wall? Send me some pictures. If I misunderstood your question, I'd like to answer it again. I'm Michael Church, Crawl Space Ninja. We hope you make it a happy and blessed day, and we'll see you later.